important that for commerce and trade and for our respective economies, Victoria, New South Wales, indeed for the rest of Australia, it's important that people be able to travel from other spots other than those hotspots that are in Melbourne. And those folks who want to travel can certainly do so, but they will understand that we need to have some screening. That's the government's view. So we have implemented health screening at the airports, and we've also got, in addition to that screening, we've asked the police more broadly to keep an eye out for Victorian number plates on our highways and byways, and if they could also just check, as they can, whether or not those people have come from the hotspots of Victoria once our new orders were in play, and obviously that's from midnight last night. The screening this morning's been quite good. We've actually had identified some people that have come from hotspots, but they were actually transiting to the Northern Territory and to Queensland. And I personally picked up the phone to the ministers in both of those jurisdictions and just advised them. They have their own checks and balances, of course, in their states and territories, and that's appropriate. Some folks might be, for example, returning to their own homes in the Northern Territory or their own homes in Queensland. But if they're travelling from those hotspots, then those jurisdictions also have their checks and balances, as we do, ensuring that our community are as safe as we can be in the present COVID climate. Could also indicate one quite disturbing issue this morning, and that is we had a health staff meeting the XPT train this morning, which came in I think at 7 o'clock, and screening proceeded well, but a salutary reminder for us all. The one message that Dr Chant and I have been giving, and the Premier have been giving for 5 or 6 months, is if you're feeling sick, if you've got any symptoms of a cough, a cold, flu-like illness, don't go out, don't travel. This morning we found, or our health staff found somebody with symptoms who had actually been tested in Victoria and then got on the train and came to Sydney. Now, that's about as silly as it gets. So the message goes out again. 99.999% of the community are with us on this, but every now and then we find somebody who just doesn't either understand or is prepared to thumb their nose at the rules. I'm just saying we all need to be in this together. So please, I appreciate there are pressures on everybody when you've got obligations to family or to work and so on, but right now your obligation really should be to the whole community. So please don't go out, don't travel if you have any symptoms at all. But if you've had symptoms sufficient to go and have a test, don't go travelling anywhere in public transport. That really is completely unacceptable. The issue of travel here from Victoria, we've put in place the checks and balances, the screening. We've got our own health staff, our own police, giving up their time at taxpayers' expense to be working at the airport and doing the screening. I think it's fair to say that whilst we are offering all assistance to Victoria, every bit of assistance we can possibly give, because we appreciate this is a struggle for all of us right across the country, we have actually asked Victoria to reflect a similar position to what we have done, and that is to set up some sort of screening process at the airport, at the train stations in Victoria, in Melbourne, and at least make sure that if anybody has managed to avoid their hotspot steps, the steps that are aimed at keeping people within their own homes, subject of course to the usual requirements of being able to go out for compassionate reasons or health issues and so on, we've asked the Victorian Government to, as soon as possible, look at what measures they can take to reciprocate. New South Wales is reaching out to them. We have done everything possible, but we are of a very strong view, and I as Health Minister am of a very strong view, that there should be similar screening. Asking some questions, taking some temperatures just adds that extra layer before people get onto the flights.